Coming up today on Philadelphia Eagles Now, no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thanks so much for subscribing and tuning in. Going to take a look at some Eagles 2023 NFL draft prospects. We'll also take some questions and super chats from some of our subscribers during our live show. It is never, ever too early for good businesses to plan ahead, and that's what the Eagles are doing right now within their scouting department, especially with 2 first-round picks. So we'll take a look at a couple of players who the Eagles could pinpoint in April's NFL draft. But before we look ahead all the way until April, we're looking ahead to Sunday here on Eagles Now. Going to be doing another watch party here on the channel for one of the best rivalries in the NFL. Giants on the road, Lincoln Financial Field, to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Join Trace and Abby for our Eagles watch party. Then I'll join for a post-game show. Subscribe, let's party. It's going to be popping, and those two are absolutely going to kill it. To our Eagles draft targets here. Couple of needs on this football team, and we'll address a couple of them here on today's show. So when I look at this roster right now, with the players that they have on it, some of the weaknesses, but also as we project forward to what the Eagles might need. They might need a cornerback. They might need an edge rusher. They might need an offensive tackle because of the future, being a little bit uncertain with Lane Johnson with his injuries, but also him saying that he only wants to play a couple of years. So with this cornerback here and this prospect in Kelee Ringo out of Georgia, this dude is a fantastic player. And you'll have an opportunity to watch him on Monday in the national championship game against TCU. I'm intrigued by him for a couple of reasons. He's only 20 years old. He has great cornerback size when I scout him at 6'2", 205, really long frame. And what he brings to the table is versatility. He can play outside, inside, physicality. With his size, he can kind of match up against big wide receivers, but speedy wide receivers because of the 4.3 40-yard dash. And the Eagles right now are in a little bit of a financial predicament with what they want to do at cornerback. Do you draft Kelee Ringo and pay him a fraction of the price of what James Bradberry will get in NFL free agency? Because this year, Bradberry has looked like a 1B corner, a top-tier number 2 cornerback, and there are a lot of desperate teams out there who need cornerback help, and they've seen that James Bradberry has put good tape on film. They could pay him $12 to $15 million. Might be too expensive for Philadelphia. To another cornerback, a lot of you Pennsylvanians very familiar with this guy. It is Joey Porter Jr., out of Penn State. His pops was a great linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day. He did not play this past Monday in the Rose Bowl, decided to opt out, and by the way, I'll eat the crow on that game. I thought Penn State, it was a bad matchup for them going up against a physical Utah team. I didn't pick them to win. Great win for James Franklin and that program. Also, fantastic win for Sean Clifford to go out, especially with the way that he played. Unfortunately for us, though, we didn't get to see Joey Porter Jr. And this past year, one of the more exciting, fun-to-watch players in college football on the defensive side of the rock. And his numbers really are staggering. 254 coverage snaps for the Nittany Lions this year. 0 touchdowns allowed. He forced 10 incompletions. And when he was targeted by opposing quarterbacks in a conference that has a couple of pro-caliber quarterbacks in the Big Ten, a passer rating allowed of 59.1. Now, Ringo might be taken inside the top 10, so it depends on where the Eagles' first selection is from New Orleans. Joey Porter Jr. might get closer to 10, if not after. But both of those players could be available for Philly in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft. So earlier I had said, a couple of positions here that the Eagles could look to target. What position should the Eagles target with their first pick? Let us know in the comment section right now. For a guy who might be available later in the first round, Isaiah Foskey, defensive end at Notre Dame. This is a 4-year college player who has put up great production over the last 3 years. 4-year player with the Fighting Irish. Credit to Marcus Freeman for turning that program around this past year. Looked as though they were down in the dumpster after that loss against Marshall, and then they come back and they beat Clemson in the bowl game. 6'4", 257. So solid size for an edge rusher. He could bulk up just a little bit. But what I love about him, he just has a knack for getting after the opposing quarterback and bringing him down. 10 sacks in 2021. Hard to do at the college level. 10.5 sacks in 2022. And his last 3 years, he was very active behind the line of scrimmage. 28 tackles for loss. So 3 draft prospects who the Eagles could look to target in the 2023 draft coming up in April. And this is why you subscribe, because our NFL offseason coverage, it's top-notch. When free agency comes, draft time, anytime, year-round, there's a big event, news, rumor, report, whatever. We literally cover it all. Then during the season, watch parties all year round, live shows as well. Now, before we start answering some of your questions, use the hashtag Eagles or Super Chat us to get featured on the show. We'll tell you about Rocket Money. Do you know how much you pay for your subscriptions every month? Most Americans think they spend about $80 per calendar month on subscriptions, when the actual total cost, closer to $200. That's right. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each month on subscriptions you don't even know about. This app, I love using it. It's Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. It shows you all of your subscriptions in one place, cancels for you whatever you don't still want, and Rocket Money even finds subscriptions you didn't know you were paying for. And we've all been hit with some of those hidden subscriptions, and then when we go to cancel it, it's really hard. But with Rocket Money, all you have to do on the app is press cancel, and all of your subscriptions are featured on one screen. Get rid of those useless subscriptions with Rocket Money now by heading to rocketmoney.com/Eagles now. Seriously, it could save you hundreds of dollars per year. We'll put that link in the comment section. We'll put it in the description of this video. A couple of super chats that we want to get to here on today's show, as we always love fielding your questions and kind of opening up the floor for everybody out there. Let's kick it off with Brandon Ford, a real OG and a real one. He's making a prediction here. Eagles-Niners in the NFC Championship game. Eagles win in overtime by 3. That would be a phenomenal game. And because the Niners have a nation and worldwide following, as do the Eagles, the ratings for that game would be stupid. And then when it comes down to the overall play, both teams are loaded with Pro Bowlers, all pros, a good offense, a good defense. It would be one of the best and most highly anticipated NFC Championship games that we've seen in a really long time, and I hope it happens. Daniel Bigelow, $10 super chat. Kelee Ringo, baby, go Dogs. Dude, if you're a Bulldogs fan, we were watching the game New Year's Eve in Fort Worth. It was a fantastic game that came down to the wire. C.J. Stroud was picking apart Georgia, played really well. He just wasn't bailed out by his teammates. He didn't get the help from his teammates, and that kick to win the game for Ohio State was not even close. You can't trust hookers. You can't trust college kickers. Emmanuel Henderson, $10 super chat. It was a joke. How many supplemental picks will the Eagles get if they don't sign several of their top players? Damn, Emmanuel, you sent in a $10 super chat. I wish I could answer that in full right now. Let me try to look here really quickly. But I haven't looked that far yet. They do have compensatory picks, though. So we'll take a look at their compensatory picks tracker. They're not likely to score big in the 2023 compensatory pick market because their list of outgoing free agents isn't a lot of great players. So that's the latest update there, Emmanuel. Really appreciate your donation, my guy. We'll ramp up our draft coverage and obviously break that down in the months to come. Nick Stone, so are the Giants for sure resting their starters this week? That is the early indication out of the Meadowlands, because they don't even play in New York, frauds, that they're going to rest a lot of their players. And if they do, no excuse for Philadelphia to lose this game. Now, if the Giants rest their players, does that mean that the Eagles are going to rest Jalen Hurts and he won't play and they'll instead play Gardner Minshew? That could be very interesting. I don't want to see Gardner Minshew unless the Eagles completely change the offense. Him trying to run a Jalen Hurts scheme, it's been brutal to watch. So who you got on Sunday? Again, Trace and Abby, join them for our watch party. NYG for the G-Men, PHI for the Birds. I'm on the right side of this matchup. I'm, of course, going with the Eagles. Chua, who should the Eagles draft? So we talked about 3 prospects earlier. I'd be fine with them. I continue to be very intrigued by Bijan Robinson. I hate spending first-round picks on running backs, and I don't think that it's an organizational move that is a good one. But Bijan Robinson is a player who intrigues me because, like we were talking about with Ringo, Bradberry leaves, you pay him a fraction of the price, right? Well, if Miles Sanders wants to get $10, $13 million out there in free agency. Do you draft Bijan, who's maybe the better player and cheaper and one of the best college football players that we've seen in recent time? Now, a lot of you know me, a lot of you don't. So if you want to get to know me and want to interact with me, hit me up on my socials, Twitter and Instagram, at Chase_Senior. Appreciate it in advance. I do it all here at Chat Sports, NFL, NBA, college football, Major League Baseball, and I have versatility to my life. So I promise you, you won't regret giving me a follow. Feel free to hop in the DMs too if you just want to chop it up.